Hello, welcome to New Spirit TV. I'm here with Katie Rose. Hello, Katie.
Hello, Alexis. It's wonderful to be here.
It's great to be here. How are you today?
I'm brilliant. It's really wonderful to be with you. Thanks.
Likewise. Katie Rose is a singer, songwriter, healer who runs sound therapy workshops and campaigns for Water Aid. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
Tell me about Water Aid.
I have been very inspired by Helen Chadwick, who 10 years or so ago set up a program and a series of events which were raising awareness and funds for Water Aid by using singing. So every year at the Thames Festival there's this incredible gathering of nearly 900 people singing specially prepared songs about water, and everybody comes and donates and everybody fundraises, and this programme has now raised over £500,000 for Water Aid since it's been running. And last year I ran a special event here in London. I'm just about to do a Water Aid fundraising album launch, so I'm really committed to that because it brings clean water to people who don't have any access to water and who are actually dying of very simple diseases that could be prevented if they just had access to clean water.
And what's your album called?
My forthcoming album will be called Empty Cup.
Empty Cup by Katie Rose. And just let people know what your website is so that they can find out more about your work.
Thank you. It's www.therosewindow.org.
That's great. As a sound healer, I can imagine that you do some really powerful work. Can you tell me a little bit about what you've experienced as a sound healer?
It's really extraordinary what sound can do. We are all vibration. All of us is vibrating at every moment. That's how they can use ultrasound to help us see babies or cure kidney stones. So we're all made of sound. So when we introduce sound consciously, either by listening to something like a gong or a singing bowl, or just a specially prepared piece of music with a certain intention, we are completely changing our frequency. So I have seen people shift, and I have experienced myself so many shifts, so many breakthroughs from the power of connecting firstly with my own voice, which is like our own personal healing instrument, and also with the power of vibrations from these very special instruments that we can use, like gongs, singing bowls, flutes. It's really, though, it's about the intention. It's what we use, and if we direct sound with intention, we can completely transform ourselves.
Do people get emotional when they're working with their voice?
Absolutely, because many of us might have been told, be quiet, children are seen and not heard. Or we might have had teachers at school that said, no, you stand at the back and mime when it was music lessons. That lots of people have had these experiences in their background where they felt squashed vocally and their expression goes. And when we start opening that, a lot of emotion can come out because we start recapturing the power of our voice. We start opening to these new realms of expression. And also a lot of cultural conditioning. For example, for women, it's not very acceptable to be angry. When women reclaim their voices, sometimes a lot of anger needs to come out, a lot of repressed emotions, and these are all valid. They're all beautiful. They're all like colours on our canvas, and when we allow them to come out, we've got everything to paint with.
What do you feel has been your inspiration in terms of working with sound? What started you on that journey?
My first and primary inspiration is what I would call spirit. My first experiences of singing were in churches, and I don't practice a strict religion. If I have to put myself in a label, I'd say I'm a mystic, in that I believe that all religions have aspects of truth to them, all practices have aspects of truth. They're all linked like a big tree, and they're all trying to explore this incredible realm of mystery. And ultimately, that for me is beyond human capacity. It's beyond concepts, but we need concepts so that we can communicate about it. So that's why we've evolved religions, and that's why also religions and spiritual practices use sound. Because when we sound, we go into a different state of awareness, which is the same state as you use in any meditation. change the pattern of your brain waves. You go into a much more relaxed state. A different part of your mind becomes activated. And so for me, that was my original inspiration, was the spiritual experience of singing and feeling this divine connection. That's where all of my work flows from primarily. And then, of course, there are inspirations like different artists, different practitioners who I've been really, really blessed to encounter on my way, or have just heard their music. All of that has been very rich. Life is an inspiration if we use it that way.
I imagine water itself is a very powerful cleansing force.
Yes.
But when you combine water and sound, that could also be another powerful tool for healing work. What kinds of shifts have you seen in people when you've actually been working with them with the sound?
I have seen people reclaim their power. I have seen people redefine their artistry and their creativity. Some people come to me who are already singing and they just want to open another level of expression. So there's a massive spectrum. Some people come and they're not really a singer and they're not really looking to be a singer as such, but they just want to reclaim something about their voice. There's a massive spectrum of vocal work because we are all vocal. We are all using our voice every single day. So the profound things I've seen are people just weeping because they've suddenly encountered the true power of their voice. Or just the simple thing of saying to one singer, which I did recently, just yawn a little bit, yawn and then sing, yawn and then sing. And he went, my goodness, that's like my Barry White voice. All this power came out of his voice because he'd relaxed his jaw. So do you see what I mean? There's all this potential for a massive spectrum of breakthrough.
And of course we are composed of water as well.
We are. Yes, we are. We are made of water. We're about 90% water. And everything in our body requires water. And without water, we don't exist. And water is very powerfully impacted by sound, as Dr. Emoto has very powerfully shown in his research. He showed that different words make different crystals shapes in the water. So it's my belief that actually if we sing for water, it can really have a very positive effect on water itself. So when we sing, all the water in our body is going to alter shape. That's massive.
It's huge. And as a singer yourself and a songwriter, where do you draw your inspiration from when you're writing a song?
As I said, the primary inspiration is from spirit. The second inspiration would be nature. Two of my albums are dedicated firstly to the trees and then to water. So ecological things are very, very important for me. Ecological issues are primary, I believe. Unless we start listening to the planet more and we listen to nature and our own nature, there's going to be a lot of difficulty. So we really need at this time to come back into tune with that. And I include myself in that journey. I'm still myself retuning to nature. So nature is very, very inspirational for me. And then, of course, there are different themes that come through. We find these archetypal themes in lots of music: love, loss, death, passion, adventure. There are so many themes in our human experience, and these are inspirational as well. We all have to go on these journeys in our lifetime. We will have to have certain experiences, heartbreaks, wonderful breakthroughs. All of these things can be expressed through music.
So you have The Singing Tree, yes, which is one of your albums, and you've got your new album coming out on the 21st of March 2013.
Yes.
Tell me the name again.
That's Empty Cup. It will be out on the 21st of March.
And you're doing a launch for that in Spiral in Camden. Yes? We talked a little bit before the interview about sound baths. Could you just fill me in on what a sound bath is?
Fantastic, yes. A sound bath is simply receiving intentional sound. So mostly people tend to like to lie down and completely relax, and then I or other practitioners would play these very powerful instruments, particularly the gongs, which are incredibly powerful because their vibration generates so many tones. You may have heard of something called overtones. When we play one note, it's like it gives birth to lots of baby notes at different frequencies above and below that original note. So a gong fills the whole space with all those baby notes and more, and it keeps filling the space because the whole instrument is vibrating. And that vibration can become very, very cathartic and very, very powerful to receive. So that's just one of the instruments I use. Singing bowls likewise, again, generate these powerful tones. And these tones bring our mind into a place of stillness because, as you can hear even today, there's a massive soundscape that we're always involved with, yeah? And there's a massive soundscape inside our head of all our different sub-personalities chattering away. When we focus all of that into on one sound, we become single focused and the mind can completely relax. All that chattering dies down, body can relax and release tensions. So I've even experienced myself receiving sound baths, things like my whole spine realigning completely, and issues, lots of different issues changing and emotions releasing, because the vibration is affecting all of us. As I said, we're vibrating beings. So that's a sound bath, when we really lie down and let those waves of sound cascade all over us.
Have you experienced actual physical problems being relieved through sound?
Yes, I have. As I say, back pain, I've been fortunate in that I haven't encountered too many physical issues in my life, but definitely if I have pain anywhere in my body and I sing, it's like a natural anaesthetic. It goes away. Also, partly because it takes the mind's focus away. What often happens when we've got a pain, the mind is going, I've got a pain. And when we focus on something different or beyond that, mind slows down, stops chattering, gets involved and focused on the beauty of creation. And for me, yes, singing is a total natural anaesthetic, a natural healer. Doesn't cost anything, and this is what we don't realize. We have this immense healing instrument inside us all the time. We only have to sit for 5 minutes a day and just sing, and our whole lives would be different.
People always feel better when they sing.
Yes, they do. They feel uplifted, which is why people do it in the shower, they do it driving in the car, and it's just, it's natural. It's why we sing to kids. And I think, well, why do we stop singing to people after we become children? No, we need to sing to each other continually, and I believe our ancestors would have had this, which is why I've been working with traditional folk songs, which goes back to my ancestry. But in every culture we find these ancestral songs where people sang to each other, and they sang the stories of what were of the themes of what was happening for them, what was going on, and it was their way of coming to terms with life.
What is your heritage, Katie?
My heritage is mainly, as far as I know, English at the moment, and there is some Irish links and some Celtic links. We think there's a little bit of question marks about what went on with some of my grandparents during the war, but we think there's some Irish in there, and certainly I feel an affinity with the Celtic peoples and with the music of that place.
Your music is very beautiful, and it has that real definite Celtic influence. So it's Katie Rose at therosewindow.org. Thank you so much for talking to us. It's been lovely meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. It's so generous that you've offered the space. Thank you.
Great. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.